today's topic, mainly because I have no idea about it, but I've only been doing what most people have been doing, which is kind of scratching the surface online. And today we're going to be talking about Google's recent information or privacy link that's come up, that apparently have released thousands and thousands of documentations. And I know a lot of people are focusing on the privacy because that's often where people go. But we're going to pivot a little bit and talk about the really cool information that it's shared about how Google does its ranking and its algorithm about our ranking. So I'm excited to hear what you can share with us about this today, Kylie.
I'm really excited too. So it was quite a big thing in SEO world to finally get exactly what it is exactly how it is that Google's ranking us. Because up until now, it's all been speculation. We're working on all the things that we think we should, but to actually get some inside information. So there was so much, there was 2,500 pages of internal documentation accidentally made public. So lots of information about Google's search algorithms and ranking factors. So apparently it is one of the most substantial in the history of Google's search division. So I've got three things that I'd really like to talk about. And one of those, though, the first thing to say is, why does it even matter to us? Well, because for the first time, the documents have given us a glimpse into how the ranking algorithm really, really works. And that's what is the big one for us. So it was Rand Fishkin that they were leaked to. And I've done a whole lot of reading up about what he's got to say about it. And it's interesting. But the number one that I want to share is that links matter. So he says link diversity and relevance remain important factors, and page rank is very much still a thing in Google's ranking features, especially for a website's homepage. Now, Jenni, you and I love working on websites. I do a lot on Shopify, and you do a lot on WordPress. So, we enjoy the design aspect and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure, like me, you've noticed a lot of websites out there that have virtually nothing on the homepage. Aesthetically very pleasing, might be a lovely video, and then you've got to click here and you've got to enter this world of whatever they're doing. But actually, there's nothing on that page that tells Google what this website's all about. So very, very problematic. So we need to take a look at our homepage and look at what are we telling Google about this page so that it can decide where it's going to rank us. It can decide how people would find us when they're searching. We want to be the one that people find when they're searching for a particular thing. They're making sure we've got links out, we've got links internally, and we've got really clear and very strategic keywords.
I think that's really important because I know you and I had that conversation about balancing beauty or function and form, if you like, using old school language. And, and I'm very much about putting as much information as we can, having those links and connecting so that someone who does land on the page, they know what they want, but also from that knowledge that you shared us a while ago in terms of having that information does allow, I guess, it to be indexed more effectively by Google, essentially. That's what we're talking about, isn't it?
Absolutely it is. It's very good to get traffic, but if it's not the right traffic, it's not actually going to count. So deciding where is this traffic coming from, making sure that you've got plenty of like directory listings, but good quality directory listings and things. So it's not enough just to build a website and imagine that they're going to find you.
No, and I think it's because SEO seems quite demystifying for a lot of people, and people a lot of mystifying rather, and we sort of go, what is this SEO kind of world? How do we get into it? But it's such a simple takeaway to say, have your front page be really clear about what it is you offer, who your target market is, what you're going to give them, and then create links into where you want to go. But as long as that front page is very clear, it's like the front page of a magazine. It needs to be captured, needs to capture you, but also needs to tell you what you're going to get when you get there.
Yes, absolutely. So that takes me on to the second point, is that successful clicks matter. And the reason I say successful rather than just clicks is because it's so important that they actually are going to stay on your site and do something. So let's say that we've got the people to your site, but it was you were driving them there for the wrong reason. And so maybe they thought they were being promised something and they get there and it's not what they were looking for at all. They bounce off it straight away. So we need to get them staying there, continuing on. So it might be that a blog post has driven them to your site, and then we want them to click through to actually look at the product and buy it, or to read another blog post, or to go and book some time with you, or download a lead magnet, or whatever it is. So getting them on that site, clicking through and actually staying there is such a really important part of the journey.
That's something that I certainly have noticed and also been learning myself in terms of our own website, is that we've got so many different products and services that we sell with two very distinct markets. One is corporate and one is, small business or growing business and entrepreneurs. And they're very different targets. They're very different in terms of what they're looking for. And we're finding that bounce rate is really impacted by who's coming and how they're getting there, whether it's coming from, as you say, a blog post that might be targeted to small businesses, but when they jump into the main page, it's really focused on corporates. So being able to, for us to actually streamline our content to make sure we get that stickiness on the page has been something that we've been really aware of in the last couple of months.
I love your word stickiness there, stickiness on the page. Yes, get them there and staying there. It's so important. So, a really great piece of content, like a really great blog, will do it for you. It'll make people find you who hadn't even known that they were looking for you in the first place, but they're needing to know more about a particular topic. You're driving that traffic there from a search term that they've put in. Then once they're there, off they go, exploring more on your site. So getting sticky on your site. I love it. One thing that I have noticed, which is blowing my mind, is when you're in Meta AI, whether you're on meta.ai on a laptop or a desktop, or whether you're sitting in the AI section on Messenger or WhatsApp or any of those, it will often tell you where it's got the information from, and it will be a Google document at the bottom. So it has summarized that Google document for you as the little AI information that it's sharing, but then it gives you that link to Google. So that's another really interesting way that you're going to also be able to drive traffic. So again, it's coming up with really important articles. So I don't think I could stress enough how important it is that you are blogging.
And I mean the conversation, and we've had a whole other conversation. There's lots, actually we've done a whole podcast, I think, on blogging before, and the importance of having that article and that content. But it's making sure that it's relevant, isn't it? It's not just content for the sake of content. It's not just AI driven content that says, hey, I've produced it by a bot and it sounds really good. It actually has to connect with our audience, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I'm going to give an example of a client that we have here in New Zealand, and they're a dance studio, ballroom and Latin. So all different age groups from 6 to 600 or, 96. And so a blog post that we would write for them would be 5 reasons why you need to date your partner. And so people are Googling, and it might be after they've had their first child, or maybe after their last child has left home, or whatever stage they're at in life, and they're Googling, looking for, what can I do with my partner now that we suddenly have got this time and we realize we've got to reconnect as a couple again. So there's a blog post all about that. And of course, number 8 would be join a dance class where you can do it together. Ballroom and Latin American dancing, it's in the evening, it's something fun to do. You can both be beginners and enjoy it, etc. Have a laugh. You don't need to have any experience beforehand. So of course, then they can click through and then find out when there's a free beginner class on for them to just go along and try it out. So it's a great, great top of funnel awareness piece that brings in people that didn't even know they were looking for a dance class. They just knew that they were looking for something to do with their partner because it's time to start dating them again.
I love that it's, what I'm really loving about this conversation is that some of these things that we've talked to our clients about, that you've been sharing with your clients and with us on the podcast for some 3 years, we now have validation about the importance of it in terms of how they fit with the Google rankings. And I think particularly in the world where we're at, where we want ROI and we want data-driven kind of decision-making, this is really going to help those people who are a bit skeptical about what SEO is to really see the value of making sure that front page is really clear, make sure that we have links that go to, and we keep people on that pathway and follow through, but then providing valuable information on a regular basis to make sure that they're coming back to the site, they're making connection and in a relevant way that's, connecting them with our products and services. And I love that this is validating all those things we've been saying to our clients for many years. It's so good.
Totally. And Jenni, the third piece that I want to share about this and what we've found out now from Google is that brand matters. And you and I talk about brands. We love it. What Rand Fishkin said is build a notable, popular, well-recognized brand in your space outside of Google search. So what we need to think about is, how are we getting really clear on our brand, really, really consistent, that's going to drive traffic to Google. So all of those things we do in digital marketing. So the digital marketing is everywhere that we're seen online. So it's your social media platforms, it's your email marketing, it's whatever directory listing that you're on. Of course, it's your website. It's so many different things that add up to it, but it all needs to be consistent and very, very clear that we understand. So elephant in the room, we know the beautiful red origami elephant. Wherever we see it, we know that's Jenni and Elephant in the Room Consulting. So we see it on your Pinterest, we see it on your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Instagram, your email marketing, all of the different places. It is vital that we instantly recognize that as you.
And I think that's so important because it goes back to that conversation. Is I've got a colleague of mine, and we had about a year ago, we had a very interesting conversation around website builds, and they build what they would call functional websites. So it's all the links and all the SEO keywords, but it is ugly. It is not branded. It's not on brand for the business. So the business had a really beautiful brand that they were working with, really clean, really slick. But the website was built essentially by a bot for Google. And so it had all the right things that Google wanted to see, but there wasn't that brand connection. And I was trying to have that conversation with him then to say that your brand matters, even if it's on a website, even if it's for Google, because otherwise there is inconsistency. And a client or a customer is going to come to that webpage and go, is this real or is this a fake site? Because it was so off brand for the rest of the business. And so I love that that's something that's come out of this kind of leak, is to say that yes, you have to do all these things and make sure your website is SEO optimized, but I know you can't really say SEO optimized, but search engine optimized, but we also need to make sure that it is on brand and it looks and feels like us, because otherwise you get that disconnect.
Absolutely. So if we were going to take those 3 pieces of information, and there are many more if you want to go and look heavily into it, we're putting out a blog today about it, but to take some away so that you can adjust your strategy, the main thing would be that you want to really focus on your click metrics and really improving the overall user experience, the site speed, and for sure making sure that your mobile optimization is done. So all of those things are really, really critical. And really, if I can't stress it enough, but content freshness. And that does not mean that you must always be writing a new blog post. You can go and tweak the blog posts that you have, redate them, and make sure that they're current. So there's no point having blogs that have been sitting there for 10 years old. They're just dead wood. So freshen them up, redate them, and pop them out. So it's pretty much all the things that we've all known, but it's this just clarifying that it's absolutely vital. It's how they're ranking us, and it's what we really need to focus on.
And I think that's really important, particularly because we're all sort of time poor. We're all trying to prioritize things, and you cannot prioritize everything. That's the whole point, right? We need to identify what are the things that we can focus on that's going to move the dial for us, for our customers, and for our engagement, and particularly in a digital marketing sense. So I love if we focus on those 3 things: is making sure that front page is really clear about who we are and what we offer, providing relevant links that connect to information that goes back to those services, making sure we're sharing our blogs and we're targeting clients appropriately. And the one thing that I notice is that conversation when I had a quick squiz at the content is around making sure we're really clear about our location as well. Making sure if we're in Brisbane or if we're in Australia or we're targeting the world, having that conversation so that you bring that into your website and into your blogs. But then that last piece about having that freshness and keeping it on brand, it's so critical. And they're things that we can do easily every week or every month, and check in on our website and our digital marketing to make sure that we're hitting those 3 targets at least, without even worrying about all the other incredible information that we shared.
Absolutely. So really, at the end of the day, it's about looking at that strategy, isn't it? And just looking at, what am I doing? What could I be doing better? And what could I just eliminate? And the eliminate bit might be writing a whole new blog every week. It might be saying, I can do one once a month, but I can actually repurpose one of the ones I've already got.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm going to take something that we just said, is maybe it's not even just having a relevant marketing strategy. Make sure you have a marketing strategy, in particular your marketing strategy. I was talking to a client early last week about their digital marketing and their marketing. They said, oh, look, we have a marketing strategy. And I was like, so, but it doesn't include digital. I was like, How do you have a marketing strategy that does not include digital in the 21st century? Like that's a marketing strategy for someone who lives in on a remote island where there isn't internet, because it has to be a core part of your marketing strategy. So if you don't have a marketing strategy or a plan or a napkin that tells you what you're going to do for the next 6 months, then that's what you need to focus on, and bring these 3 things and these 3 tips into that strategy is really going to help you move the dial for your business.
Agree, totally agree.
Well, I'm incredibly fascinated. I'm about to do a deep dive. I know my team are certainly going to go down rabbit holes today, looking about a little bit more about the Google leak. But because before having this conversation with you, I'm a little bit, head down at the moment, and I didn't even see that this leak came out. I know it happened a couple of weeks ago. So I'm excited to go in and have a little bit more information. Your blog drops today, which is going to give us a little bit more information about what was found and how we can help really cement and boost our SEO. But that, Kylie, amazing conversation. Where can people find that blog once it drops today?
If you head to hellomedia.team, it'll be up on our homepage. So scroll down towards the bottom and there'll be.
Love that. And if we want to connect with you, we go to hellomedia.team and we can get all your social links from there as well.
Absolutely. And how can people connect with you, Jenni?
So best way to find us is Elephant in the Room AU on all our socials, and elephantintheroomau.com is our website. But yeah, so definitely have a look at our stuff. We love feedback, but we've got a couple of new blogs dropping this week, not on digital marketing. But I think the topic today is definitely going and having a look at that blog when it drops, to learn a little bit more about the Google leak, what it means for you, and how you can actually really use the information that was shared by Kylie today. Amazing conversation. Thank you so much as always, Kylie. It's great to see you. Thank you for coming to us a bit earlier in New Zealand. Oh, no, a bit later. You're early afternoon now, the other way. Nice to see you. Thanks everyone for tuning in to this episode of Bite Size Business Live podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us so you do not miss any future episodes or any of the connections that we're sharing. We look forward to seeing you next time. Have an amazing week and talk soon. Thanks so much, Kylie.
And on Friday, it's the Raw Success Awards, and we're up for Podcast of the Year.
Completely forgot. It's been such a massive week. Yes, it's so exciting that we're Podcast of the Year. I mean, we're so excited about our amazing supporters and the people who've been tuning in every week. And I turn up at workshops and conferences, and someone go, "I love your podcast every week. I wait for it to drop." So exciting that we're up for the Raw Awards this year, and cannot wait to hear what happens this Friday.
Thank you all for supporting us.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you for reminding us about that. Have an amazing day, everyone. We'll see you next week, hopefully with a lovely trophy.
Yeah. Thanks, Jenni. See you soon.
Bye now. See you, everyone.